Serious, when did COVID-19 get real for you?
About a month or so ago, when my hospital converted a ward into a negative pressure unit in anticipation of our first patient from one of the cruise ships. We're still changing related procedures and protocols almost daily and prepping other wards to accept patients with pending tests. When my first patient tested positive and I realized I had been in that room without PPE.
My cousin got sick, was admitted to the ICU, and tested positive for it. He's been out of the hospital for a few days but hasn't really improved, he just hasn't gotten worse. I texted with him a bit and it's still really serious. He has asthma as well. I guess it was only a matter of time before it affected somebody I know. Edit. Thank you so much for all the well wishes. I will pass them along. To answer the most frequently asked question, my cousin is 34. Edit 2. He's based in NYC.
When I realized that if my mother, who is 70 but generally healthy, falls ill, I can't get to her because that would involve air travel.
When I was on Nextdoor and saw that people are posting which grocery stores have food. I wasn't blind to anything, I was taking it seriously and all. But that was the moment where I realized, holy shit. We are currently in a world where people have to post which grocery stores have food.
When my boss told me that I will be working from home for 8 to 12 weeks. It's been real for me since hearing about Italy locking down. Because I've been in shortage situations before, namely Hurricane Katrina, but it got really real when I found out the guy across from me tested positive. And I was on the elevator with him last Monday. So that kinda blows. He's fine, thankfully, just in self-quarantine. But now with the pollen coming out and all, every little sniffle and scratch I feel in my throat has me convinced I'm getting the damn thing. When Walmart stopped being open 24/7. When I was told by the administration that we had one box of N95 masks in the hospital. When I went grocery shopping for the first time in several days last week, and many of the shelves were completely empty. When my dad told me, I won't stop you from leaving the house, but just remember the choices that each of us make are going to affect our entire family from now on. As bored as I am in social isolation, I just can't risk my family's health. I have worked in investigations, security for 8 years and was always told we can never work from home. Reason being we have access to millions of individuals' sensitive data and they didn't want to risk it being stolen. 2 weeks ago they bought hundreds of laptops and sent us all home to work. When Ireland closed the pubs shortly before St. Patrick's Day. When I realized I should not be able to go home and see my elderly parents, one of which recently got diagnosed with cancer. Edit. Thank you guys for the heartwarming messages. I don't think I'll be going back to my hometown, but I will for sure be FaceTiming and calling and doing whatever I can. I called my parents sobbing because I was scared I wouldn't get to see them again. Tell your family and your friends that you love them, regardless of their health. Take care everyone. And know we got this and it'll pass over in no time. Much love from Seattle. My first shift at the hospital after 9 days off and seeing how absolutely unprepared we were to deal with what's coming. For example, 2 nurses were allowed to come back to work after flying home from a cruise in early March. They pulled both of them and sent them into quarantine, but not until they received a call from the cruise line that 2 passengers so far had tested positive. There was at least 2 people on our unit who were like 99% confirmed. They just hadn't been tested because neither met the criteria for testing in this state. Having left the country recently or directly knowing someone who had. And now I'm in the middle of another 9-day stretch off. having had what feel like a chest cold for going on 3 or 4 days now. Knowing I need to check in for a virtual health consult and wondering if they'll be footing me bill if I'm told to take 2 weeks off. When I lost my job, my girlfriend is a wildlife virologist. When she started constantly reading articles during her free time, maybe mid-February or so, I realized it was the real deal. When cases popped up a few miles from my elderly, immune-compromised father's home, I started being truly scared for him and others.
Today, when the government announced they're going to start putting the dead in a skating rink inside a local shopping mall because the local funeral homes don't have any more capacity.
When colleges and K-12 schools closed, that's not a light decision, and the people making those calls are very educated. I immediately knew things were about to hit the fan. We own a small business. 3 days ago the government ordered us to shut down. We had to let go all of our employees, including 3 senior citizens who depended on their checks for their livelihood. We have some savings, but not nearly enough to continue to live and maintain the business afloat. The state is not offering enough help for us. We are really in a tough situation. Our employees are also in the same boat. We have a 30-year-old employee who has nobody. She lives by herself and most likely will get evicted, as her landlord is an asshole. Her situation is desperate. This is so sad and so crazy. All of our hard work is going down the drain in 3 weeks.